So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, when it came out, was a bit of a surprise love of mine and ended up being one of my favourite films of the year. So what did I think of Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse? Woo! Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel every week, and then movie reviews just like this one here at the weekend. In the description box below you will find all of my social links. If you are looking for book reviews, you can go there to find some, and all of my movie reviews are spoiler free, and I will leave a playlist of my recent reviews linked up above in case you are looking for something else to watch this weekend. Yes, we are sort of here with all the big summer blockbusters. We've had some Little Mermaid and now we're into Spider-Man. I feel like, though, this release was kept a little bit quiet. I didn't realise it was coming until I saw a trailer for it when watching probably Ant-Man. I think that's when I saw the trailer for this one. So that's an interesting one. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse sort of picks up off the back of where Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse left off, and so we have Gwen Stacy and we have Miles Morales and we have a lot of the other characters that we met in the other films. If you've seen the trailer, you will see that we meet many different Spider-Men in this film. Obviously I loved the animation style of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and I really liked the fact that we had a sort of different Spider-Man in there as well, and the fact it links with the other Spider-Man but it's in a different Spider-Verse. So it is quite hard to get your head around it if you think about it too hard. However, if you just go in there going, I'm going to watch a fun movie today, it's less of a stressful situation. So there is some harking back to what happened in the previous movie. So I will say, I think I would recommend, if you can, watching the first of the Spider-Verse movies before watching this one. They are both fairly lengthy, but I think it's worth putting the time and effort in and doing that, because I did not. And in the beginning I was a bit like, okay, what's going on here? What's she talking about now? Getting my head around it a little bit. However, this one does bring in some new characters, a lot of new Spider-Men, Spider-People, people from the Spider-Verse, superheroes in the Spider-Verse, because they're not all people. Oh my goodness, so hard to describe. Lots of people from the Spider-Verse. This one brings in lots of new characters in that way. So if you're kind of watching this as a standalone without having watched the previous film, I think there is enough new stuff, enough novelty there that you can kind of pick up and run with this as a film standing alone on its own. However, if you are wanting to watch this as a follow-on from the previous film, I think you need to watch that one to get your head back in that zone. But yeah, I really loved a lot of the new characters that were introduced in this one. Not necessarily new villains introduced in this one, but I loved the new superheroes, the new spider heroes in the Spider-Verse. Not men, not people, spider heroes. And I really thought it was really funny the way they were kind of introduced and the way they interacted with Gwen Stacy, Miles Morales and Peter Parker. Peter Parker in this one is just so funny, and I think having watched New Girl fairly recently as well, kind of him being the voice in this one, it was like, oh, this is quite weird. And he's like Nick Miller in my head at the minute because I've been watching New Girl, but in this one he's Spider-Man. It's really hard to get my head around. But I think that was a sort of fun, like, extra aspect of me. I definitely did laugh. Now, I saw this one in a fairly quiet movie theatre, but the audience reaction, the laughter definitely was there. And I did watch this one where there were quite a few kids in the theatre as well. Obviously, if I'm watching a film in the middle of the day, I'm a teacher, there's probably going to be children watching the film in the middle of the day too, because they're also off if I'm off. I don't skive work to go to the cinema. And so, in terms of whether you're thinking of taking children to go and see this one, they seemed fairly well occupied, and there was children of varying ages in there, from kind of maybe 6 or 7 years old right the way through to teenager, and then, you know, adults and parents as well, sort of my age and older. And yeah, they seemed fairly entertained. I didn't see a lot of running around or kind of going in and out an awful lot, which is always a sign of something which is a good marker. The animation style, obviously, in this one is fabulous. There was some bits where, if you've seen Wreck-It Ralph and those two films, there's some glitching that goes on, and there's some glitching that goes on in this film. Again, no spoilers, just that there is some glitching, and I struggled a little bit in those moments. I saw this in IMAX, so as enhanced as it could possibly be, because at the end it confirmed that some of it was specially formatted for IMAX. But those glitchy bits were quite difficult to watch, and it was quite difficult for my eyes to then readjust afterwards. So just be warned, there's some glitching that's quite like on the screen. But there are some moments, and I know that these kind of featured in the other film a little bit as well, the different animation styles. There are some moments when we get a little bit of live action as well, and we see sort of almost clips from other spider superheroes, like, for example, a Spider-Man from The Amazing Spider-Man. And so we see, yeah, some live action stuff in there too. It delves into the idea of AI a little bit as well, which I thought was interesting. And it delves into the wider multiverse, what's going on in the different multiverses, a little bit like we have with kind of Avengers Endgame and Ant-Man Quantumania, and things like that. And so that was really interesting, the way it links with all of these. There was definitely some nods to the comics that probably went over my head, but I was aware they were kind of in there. And so I think that if you are a fan of the original comics and the original sort of Marvel graphic novels, they will be good. And I think if you are a fan of the Sony Spider-Man movies as well as the Disney Marvel Spider-Man movies like me, I think that there's enough in there for you as well. Was it kind of the best film that I've seen in the last couple of weeks? No. I really disliked the way it ended. Essentially, there's a bit of a like, oh, you'll have to watch the next movie to find out this, again with no spoilers. And I didn't like that. I was just like, no, I need to know what happens with this storyline now, because I'll probably have forgotten by the time I'm watching Spider-Man Beyond the Spiderverse, that was confirmed in the credits. Again, it's not a spoiler. We know it's coming. There's news of it next year. And so, yeah, I didn't like that. I wanted a conclusion, and I didn't like that conclusion. And so, yeah, that didn't sit great for me. Should you pay your cinema going money to go and see this one? I think that it is a well-rounded family film, a bit like I talked about last week with Little Mermaid. However, I think that some parts of it went really quite deep, and I struggle with that a little bit. And I think that if you're taking children to go and see it, they may struggle with the ending as well. It was a good film. It wasn't the best that I've watched in the past months, say. And so it could be one where you wait to watch it at home. I don't know. I enjoyed seeing it in IMAX format. The sound was really good in that particular theatre. However, I don't think it's something that has to be seen on the big screen. Being the animation style it is, I think would work equally well on TV at home. So there you have it. As always, if there is a particular movie you would like me to go and watch next week and then bring you my thoughts here, then do let me know in the comments. I will be back with another movie review for you next weekend and more bookish content in the week. So make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on those. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you with my next video. Thanks for watching. Woo!